We'll now begin to use the same basic setup that we developed in graph 14.7 to investigate different types of cost changes and the impact they have on a competitive industry. We'll begin here with an increase in the long-run fixed cost that firms face within an industry. We'll begin with an initial market demand curve as well as an initial short-run market supply curve that establishes the original equilibrium in the industry. In this original equilibrium, the firms that exist in the industry will produce X star in overall output and sell that output at the competitive market price P star. For this short-run equilibrium to be consistent with the long-run equilibrium condition that there is no firm that wants to enter or exit the market, it has to be the case that the marginal firm's long-run average cost curve reaches its lowest point at the price P star. An increase in the firm's long-run fixed costs will cause the firm's long-run average cost curves to shift up, with the lowest point of the long-run average cost curve shifting to the right. At the new long-run equilibrium, the new equilibrium price P prime will have to settle at the lowest point of the firm's average cost curve, causing an increase in output for each firm that remains in the industry. The mechanism by which the price increases is that firms must be exiting the industry in order for price to be pushed up to the new long-run equilibrium price level. As firms exit, we move up the demand curve to the new equilibrium where the industry will produce X prime at the new equilibrium price P prime. The industry overall produces less, but each firm that remains in the industry produces more. That's how we know for sure that firms must have exited. We can illustrate the same thing by focusing on the long-run supply curve for the market instead of the short-run supply curves that shift as firms exit. The long-run market supply curve will be flat at the original equilibrium price P star if all firms are identical, intersecting the demand curve at P star, causing the industry to produce X star in overall output. This is a long-run equilibrium because the price P star falls at the lowest point of the long-run average cost curves of each of the identical firms in the industry. Thus, each identical firm will make zero long-run profit in this original equilibrium. The increase in each firm's long-run average cost curve because of the increase in long-run fixed costs then causes a shift up in the long-run supply curve to the new price level P prime, where all firms that remain in the industry again make zero long-run profit. This again implies that each firm that remains will produce more, but the industry overall will produce less, implying that some firms must have exited. Notice that in this case there was no need to talk about any changes for either the firms or for the industry in the short run. When the long-run fixed costs increase, the marginal cost curves for firms don't change. Therefore, the short-run supply curve for firms don't change, which implies the short-run supply curve in the market doesn't change, since it's just the sum of all the individual firms' supply curves. The equilibrium therefore doesn't change, because nothing changes for firms in the short run. The only impact on firms and industries of an increase in long-run fixed costs is therefore on the long-run equilibrium.